On Earth, aliens were still a rare sight. Interstellar travel had opened trade lanes, but it was dangerous, expensive, and filled with cultural tension. Most colonies in the sector were populated by humans, and very few alien species ventured beyond their home systems unless they were diplomats, traders, or fugitives. Soraya was none of these. She was just a girl, a young woman of the Chiron people, known for their luminous skin and delicate crystalline eyes. Her people lived far beyond the main human colonies, but war had scattered them across the stars. Soraya had fled on a cargo freighter months ago, with nothing but a small pack of belongings and a datapad containing fragments of her family's history. Now she had reached Havenport, hoping to find work, or at least a place to belong. Instead, she had found only silence. No one wanted to hire an alien who barely spoke Terran standard. No one wanted to offer shelter to someone with strange markings on her skin and an accent heavy with otherworldly tones. For 3 days she had wandered the streets, sleeping beneath overhangs, clutching her pack like a lifeline. And now she stood in the rain, her body trembling with exhaustion. She wondered if she should give up. The sound of footsteps broke her thoughts. A man approached, his boots splashing through puddles. He was human, dressed in a simple gray coat, his hair plastered to his forehead by the rain. In one hand he carried a black umbrella, tilted slightly to shield him from the storm. His eyes caught sight of her, lingering for a moment longer than most passers-by dared. Soraya stiffened. She had learned to fear such attention. Some humans looked at her with curiosity, some with suspicion, and some with cruel amusement. She prepared herself for a harsh word, maybe a demand for her to move on. Instead, the man slowed to a stop. He studied her silently and then, without a word, shifted his umbrella so it extended over her head as well. The sudden absence of rain startled her. She blinked up at him, violet droplets still rolling down her cheeks. "You'll freeze if you keep standing here," he said softly. His voice was calm, not unkind. "Come on, walk with me." For a moment she could not speak. Then cautiously she nodded. The middle. His name was Daniel Holt. He was a mechanic, one of the many who worked on the starships that passed through Havenport's docks. Life had made him quiet, practical, and cautious. But when he saw the girl in the rain, something about her loneliness tugged at him. They walked together beneath the umbrella, silent at first. Soraya struggled to find the words in Terran standard, but eventually she managed. You help me," she said haltingly. Daniel glanced at her, then gave a small nod. "Seems like you needed it." She wanted to say more, to explain how long she had been wandering, how her stomach ached with hunger, how every doorway had turned her away. But the words tangled in her throat. Instead she simply asked, "Why?" Daniel shrugged. "Because it's raining." That simple answer puzzled her. On her world, kindness was often calculated, exchanged like currency. Strangers did not help one another without reason. Yet this human had given her shelter from the storm, with nothing asked in return. He led her to a small diner that stayed open through the night. The neon sign above the door buzzed faintly, casting a pink glow across the wet pavement. Inside, the air was warm, and the smell of frying food filled the room. Daniel motioned for her to sit at a corner booth. He ordered 2 plates of stew and bread, paying with credits from his work account. Soraya hesitated at the food, but hunger won. She ate slowly, reverently, as though each bite was a gift too precious to waste. Daniel watched her. "You're not from around here." She shook her head. "Far. Very far." "Got a name?" "Soraya." "Nice to meet you, Soraya. I'm Daniel." For the first time in days, she felt a flicker of safety. But Havenport was not a city that welcomed outsiders easily. Word spread quickly that a Chiron girl had been seen wandering with a human mechanic. Some whispered in amusement, others in suspicion. A few muttered that aliens brought trouble, that they should stick to their own sectors. One evening, as Daniel and Soraya walked back from the docks, 3 men stepped out of a side alley. Their jackets bore the insignia of a local gang that thrived on extortion and fear. "Well, look at this," the leader sneered. "A mechanic and his pretty alien pet." Soraya froze, panic flashing in her crystalline eyes. She had seen gangs like this before, predators who preyed on the vulnerable. Daniel stepped forward, his jaw tight. "She's with me. Leave her alone." The men laughed. "Didn't know you were into strange company, Holt. Maybe we should take her off your hands." One reached toward Soraya, and she flinched. Before Daniel could react, something extraordinary happened. Her eyes flared with sudden light, casting a violet glow across the alley. The gang members stumbled back, startled. The glow pulsed once, then faded, leaving Soraya trembling and pale. The men cursed under their breath, muttered threats, and retreated. Daniel turned to her wide-eyed. "What was that?" Soraya hugged herself tightly. "Chiron gift," she whispered. "Only when afraid." He saw the fear in her expression, not fear of the men but fear of what she had revealed. He understood then that she was more than just an alien refugee. She carried secrets, powers that others might exploit or fear. And she was utterly alone with them. Over the next weeks, Daniel offered her a place to stay. His apartment was small, barely big enough for one, but Soraya accepted gratefully. She helped around the home, learning bits of Terran Standard each day. She watched him repair ship engines, fascinated by the patience in his hands. In return, she told him fragments of her past, how her people had been scattered by war, how her family was gone, how she had traveled across light years searching for a place where she could exist without fear. The loneliness in her voice struck Daniel deeply. He knew loss too. His parents had died in a shuttle accident when he was young. Since then he had lived simply, never daring to hope for more. But now, with Soraya, the silence of his apartment felt different, no longer empty but alive with possibility. Still danger loomed. The gang had not forgotten their humiliation. Rumors of a Chiron with strange powers reached ears far more dangerous than theirs. And when a corporate agent arrived in Havenport, offering bounties for alien refugees, Daniel realized Soraya's life was in greater peril than ever. The ending. The night of the raid came swiftly. Daniel woke to the sound of boots in the corridor outside his apartment. Voices barked orders. The door shuddered under a heavy knock. "Open up! Corporate security!" Soraya's eyes widened in terror. "They find me." Daniel grabbed her hand. "We're leaving. Now." They slipped out the back stairwell just as the door burst open behind them. Rain poured again, as if the city itself conspired to hide them. They ran through the storm, hearts pounding, until they reached the docks. A cargo ship was preparing for departure, its engines humming. Daniel knew the captain, an old friend who owed him favors. They rushed aboard, begging passage. The captain hesitated at the sight of Soraya. "She's trouble. She's a person," Daniel snapped. "And she deserves a chance."